What's easier to keep charged? A phone, an iPad, a watch, an e-bike, or a car? Let's find out. Why does it always rain when I do videos like this? So we live our lives by battery percentages, whether we're waiting for stuff to charge or waiting for things to run out or panicking looking for the nearest plug point to start charging stuff. And I thought, if you spend more on stuff, so if you spend considerably more on a tablet, on a car, on a phone, on a watch, etc., do you get a more enjoyable battery experience? And the thing that set this off is this car. This is the BMW i5 M60. It's incredibly expensive, and well, I thought let's put it to the ultimate test, which is it's the battery test. In the back I have a bike from Cowboy. I have the iPad Pro, the M4 version. I also have the Garmin Mark Commander, and what else? Oh, the S24 Ultra. These are all very expensive things, and I'm taking them up north. In terms of the battery situation at the moment, so the car has got 94%. I charged it at home overnight with our brand new Omi charger, and the phone I completely forgot to charge overnight, and it had 20% when I got here this morning. It's got about 50% remaining. I'll tell you in a moment. The watch has 4 days left on it, so that should be okay. The bike, the Cowboy Classic, is fully charged. That has an 80-kilometer range, so that should be okay. The iPad Pro, the M4 version, has 94%-ish. In theory, I have no idea. Let's see what happens in this video. Okay, the first stop is Manchester. I'm going to Manchester to see the uni. Anyway, the phone, I went to get the phone out of the studio, and that has got 67%. Now, the phone should be easier to keep charged today because, where is it? I've got this brilliant charger slash stand thing from Banks. Now, I've been using this in my other car consistently, and it's brilliant. I will tell you more about this later on because Banks are very kindly sponsoring this video and making this travel possible. Anyway guys, I've got to get on the road now. This 40%, wow, okay. Whew. Okay, we're on the road, and immediately the car is worrying because the battery percentage has dropped, so it's now estimating 38% by the time that I get there. The good news about the phone is that this car does have a charging pad, so just beneath the heating controls you can place your phone down there, and as long as your phone's got wireless charging, which most phones have, it will give it a bit of juice. I don't know how much, we'll see. Now, most of us, me included, can't afford a car like this, and that spec option where you have the charging pad is expensive, so Banks have very kindly made a much more affordable and convenient option, and it's better because it can charge your Apple Watch as well. So while I'm stuck in traffic, let me tell you a little bit about this particular Banks accessory and two more that they've got because they're very kindly sponsoring this video. This is the Banks Infinity 2-in-1 car charger. It's fantastically convenient. As mentioned, I've been using this in my own car for the last few weeks. It's got 7.5 watt charging for your iPhone and 2.5 watt charging for your Apple Watch, which I don't think I've seen before in a car. The magnets are very, very stable. There's no worries about your phone falling off while you're bouncing over bumps. And if you don't need that watch charger, it does detach. And in fact, you can take off the charger completely and take it with you anywhere to charge your phone and your watch on the go. It has a built-in USB-C port, which makes that super easy to do. But while it is connected to your car, you can change the viewing angle very easily, which you can't do on a charging mat like in the BMW, and the installation is incredibly straightforward. Banks also sent me 2 phone cases to check out, including the Lucent Pro phone case for the iPhone 15 Pro Max. This features advanced Levitomag technology, which hides the magnets and protects the phone from scratches and dust. It's also got crystal clear longevity, which, according to Banks, if it turns yellow after 3 months, they'll swap it for a fresh, brand new case for just $9.99. Although in my experience with Banks stuff, it's very unlikely to turn yellow. It also has impact absorption with 4 corner airbags, and that slim, lightweight design is classic Banks. Banks also sent me this Kevlar case for the S24 Ultra, which I've been using during this trip, and it is, again, fantastic. It looks great, it protects the phone, it has a raised camera lip, and it's MagSafe compatible. And that means I can attach my S24 Ultra to MagSafe accessories, including that Infinity 2-in-1 car charger. Thanks once again to Banks for sponsoring this video, and if you want to check out any of the products, just click that link below. Okay, I'm taking no chances with this car. The battery percentage has dropped to 36% now when I get there, so that's the estimated percentage. I'm also very, very hungry, so I'm going to get a coffee, get something to eat, and find a probably very expensive charger in this service station. Okay, I have a feeling I'm going to have to abandon the charging idea because there's one person working at this coffee drive-through thing and it's taking forever. Okay, so where are we? Yeah, I've got an hour and 18 minutes to go on this journey. See, this is the challenge with electric cars. You can't just put a bit of electricity into your car in 10 minutes. If I do that, I'll gain perhaps 2%, 3%. So anyway, food, back on the road. Before I set off, let me try and capture this sound that this car makes when you turn it on. Ready? Hans Zimmer was commissioned to create all of the sounds for these BMW electric cars. I think that was him as well. Anyway, let's get back on the road. Okay, I have no idea where this university is, but it doesn't appear to have parking. Brilliant. I'm apparently here. Oh, fun, 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 fun. I wasn't going to film this section, but I am, just to prove that UK weather is dreadful at times, and it does appear to always rain in Manchester. That's that part of the trip done. I did use the iPad Pro, so that's had some battery drainage, and well, it's on to the next stage of this trip. The S24 Ultra really is feeling like the easiest thing to keep charged at the moment. The only problem is that on the charging pad on this BMW, if you've got a case on like I have, I've got that lovely Banks case on, which I'm not taking off, it doesn't seem to maintain the charging. So it starts, then it stops, then it starts again. You have to take the case off to get it charging properly, which is again why you need that Banks charger. That just works. Okay, so I've got to the point now where I have to get some charge. This car has 26% battery remaining, and I'm not risking it. I'm not going to drive down to where I am in the wilderness with basically 12% battery in this car. There's 2 charging stations here, and obviously they're both taken up. There's another BMW and an ID3 over there. So I don't really have any choice but to sit here and wait for one of those cars to leave. And remember as well, I charged this overnight, so I used the Ohmi charger. I'll put some details in the description down below, but basically it runs off your main electricity supply. They put this lovely box outside on your wall, which has got a screen on there, and you can choose exactly how long the car charges for. You can set a charging target. It's got a fantastic app as well, where you can set all of that stuff in terms of max charging, departure time, and also it even charges when it's most convenient to do so by linking up with the energy tariff that you're on as well. So that's fantastic. But even having done that, when you're out on the road, you have to do this kind of thing. Yeah, it's a waiting game now. Good news, I managed to get a charging spot, but I did have to park on the wrong side because the charging port's over there. So the cable reached, it wasn't a problem. I've been sat here for 30 minutes. It went from 26% to 83%, which means I've now got 199 miles in the tank, which is great. Now, on to the destination. When it comes to driving the i5 M60, it's so much fun. You can throw it around the corners safely, obviously, and it sticks to the road like glue. It shouldn't be this much fun, bearing in mind how big this car is. Well, I asked the team for rural, and this is about as rural as it gets. Think we're here. Another very oh, hang on. This is it. This is the place I'm staying in. This is my house for the night. And apparently the key is in the toilet. Of course it is. The team has booked me a little hut, complete with antlers. Okay, right, let's get settled down and then talk about batteries. Now I'm settled in my little Shepards Hut. Firstly, why have I come here? Well, the whole point of this video was to go off the grid and take with me some very expensive stuff that relies on batteries. But before I wind down for the evening, I thought I'd talk about 3 of those devices. The first one is this, the Samsung S24 Ultra. A lot of people don't believe that I've switched. I keep getting messages and comments saying, you're still using your iPhone, aren't you? It's in your other pocket. It's not, I promise, it's not here. And the big question is, will I ever go back to that iPhone? And I don't know. I mean, crucially, this is the one thing today that has proved fairly straightforward to keep charged. But I'm not going back to the iPhone, guys. I don't think I am. Next up, the iPad Pro. This is the M4 13-inch iPad Pro. I've been using this as my main admin device for the last, well, since it arrived, which was what, a week and a half ago. I want to give this a real try, a proper run through its paces, just as an everyday machine. But equally, I want to see what Apple does with iPad OS 18. It's a great package, it's very expensive, it's very promising, but we need something from Apple. Lastly, the Garmin Mark Commander. This is my current smartwatch of choice. I keep referring to it and saying, I'm wearing this, I've ditched the Apple Watch Ultra for this, and yada yada yada, a review's coming soon. That review hasn't happened yet because I wanted a lot of time with this watch before I make any snap judgments with it. I want to really get my fingers into it, whatever that means. You know, I want to experience it properly before giving you my full thoughts. So those three things for this little trip, no problem really. The challenging thing, the two challenging things are the car and the e-bike. Now, you've seen bits of the car, but you haven't seen much of it, and you haven't really seen the e-bike at all yet. So I'm gonna chill out now and click my fingers, and when I've clicked my fingers, it will be tomorrow when we'll go into the car and that e-bike. Ready? That was terrible. Cut to tomorrow. This wasn't the plan. I want to show you that car and I want to show you that bike. Let's try and figure this out. Made it back into the car. Now the good news is we did shoot some footage of this car and the e-bike in better weather, so I can show you some nice looking shots of this away from this wind and rain. But let's show you the interior. Now, as you'd hope from a £115,000 car, there's lots of stuff going on in here. So we have this carbon fibre detailing here. We have these accent lights. These are part of the ambient lighting, so you can change the colour of this trim. Plenty of storage for stuff. We've got two great big cup holders here. The infotainment system itself has Android Auto and CarPlay compatibility. And there's so many things you can do in here, including an interior camera, which I don't quite understand. I can take a photo of myself there. Behind the steering wheel, we get this lovely digital display here as well. The thing that I'm not that keen on is this, which is a kind of crystal style dial for the infotainment. And also this black gloss finish looks lovely, but it is very, very fingerprinty. The other very cool thing you get in here, because of all those cameras, is parking assistance. So you get obviously a rear view camera that you can see here, but you also get this top down view, which is very useful in conditions like this where basically can't see anything else apart from what's on the screen. So obviously check your surroundings and be very careful with what you're doing, but that's very useful. It's a very spacious car as well. This is a 5 Series BMW, so you get loads of space in the back. It's very, very roomy and it's comfortable. It's incredibly comfortable. And I want to talk about the exterior styling very quickly, but to do that, well, we need to go back to the studio, don't we? So let's do the magic finger click again, and immediately I'll be back at the studio. Ready? That's better. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about this BMW. So the basic price of this car is £96,840, which is so much money, but I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks good on the road. It's got presence. I love the colour of this particular example. The standard equipment, you get the M Sport brakes with red calipers, you get sun protection glass, you get 4-zone automatic air conditioning, you get 22 kilowatt high-speed charging, which is nice. You get the eDrive exterior sound, ambient lighting that I talked about a moment ago, the adaptive LED headlights, and loads of other stuff. What you want to know is about these £17,000 of extras on this particular car. One of them is the 21-inch individual aero bi-colour jet black alloy wheels. They were £1,500. It's also got the smoke white, I won't try and pronounce the name of it, but the upholstery inside. It's got the dark silver M accent combined with carbon fibre and high gloss silver threads. That's the other stuff that I showed you earlier. This press car has the M Adaptive Suspension Pro, which was £4,000. It's got that panoramic glass sunroof, that's £1,600. Built-in roller sun blinds. M Sports seat belts, M carbon exterior styling. It's also got the Technology Plus pack with the interior camera that I showed you a moment ago. You get the point. This has got so many options, and in total that brings the price of this car to £115,244.98. It's been quite an experience driving that car for the last week. It's very comfortable, it's incredibly quick. I love the noises that it makes thanks to Hans Zimmer. But I don't know who would buy it. I think if you're a chauffeur and you chauffeur very expensive people around, then it probably makes sense there. But personally, for me, I'm waiting for that M5. Fingers crossed I get to drive that, but in the meantime, let's talk about the bike. So this is the Cowboy Classic e-bike, and I've been riding it around for the last 2 weeks. It's brilliant. It's not cheap. This starts at £2,399, but I think you get a lot for it. And I think if you are the sort of person who does a lot of cycling through cities, it's absolutely brilliant. So here's a few specs. It has an active riding position. It's optimized for riders between 170 and 195 centimeters tall. It's got a removable battery, which is brilliant because it means you can take the battery off, take it into the house or into your flat, charge it up, and then put it back in, rather than taking the entire bike into your house to charge, which is always annoying. It weighs 19 kilograms, it's got a straight handlebar, it's got a 54 centimeter handlebar width, it's got a sport saddle which is very comfortable, and it's an assisted bike, so this doesn't have any controls apart from the pedals and the brakes. Obviously you just pedal, and as you pedal, the bike assists you. But one of the best things about it is that quad lock integration. So as long as you've got a quad lock case for your phone, for your iPhone or for your Android phone, you can very easily attach your phone to the bike and then benefit from the Cowboy app. And in that app you have all of your trip details, you have a map as well, and the bike charges your phone while it's on that quad lock, which is, once again, brilliant. Everything about this bike is convenient. There's no controls to worry about. You just connect your phone and off you go. You can just pedal off into the distance. Happy days, and it looks fantastic as well. Now, hands up, I did want to take that bike out in the Peak District, but the weather beat me, I'm afraid. That said, I do want to do a longer term review of the Cowboy Classic, and I know that a lot of you are looking at these bikes because you tell me in the comment sections. So I will be doing a longer term review in the not too distant future. If you don't want to miss that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that bell. Finally, my thoughts on this little battery test that I've done. I know it's been a bit elaborate and it's been a little bit broken with the weather, but I think the conclusion is actually fairly inevitable. The easiest thing to keep charged while I was out there was the Garmin Mark Commander. It's still got 38% left, 2 days of battery life. That's where these watches excel. That wouldn't have happened if I had the Apple Watch Ultra on my wrist. That would have been a pain to keep charged, I think. The M4 iPad Pro has been fine. It's got 48% battery remaining now. No problem at all there. The phone, the S24 Ultra, again, very easy to keep charged. Happy with that. The bike, we'll test that in the future, although in my experience with the Cowboy e-bike, it is very good in terms of range. The biggest challenge is the car. EVs are still challenging to keep charged. There's no two ways about it. Unless you know how to use an EV and you have the home charger to make sure that you at least leave your house with enough charge, it can be challenging. My conclusion is that a car is much harder to keep charged compared to a phone, certainly a watch, an e-bike, I think, and an iPad Pro. I hope you've learned something from that, and I hope you enjoyed watching me get all wet and angry about the weather earlier. That's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. It's been so different to the normal videos that we make, and if you have enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you've still got some time, keep watching for a link to another video that I think you'll find very interesting. Cheers.